The Galaxy A8 2018 is Samsung's new upper mid-range phone with a glass and metal design and styling so similar that we'll forgive you if you mistake it for the flagship Galaxy S8. Hello guys, my name is Vic Christoph with Phone Arena, and I have spent the past few days with the Galaxy A8 2018 in one pocket and the Galaxy S8 in the other to find out how good of a phone the A8 really is and how it compares to the S8. The list of similarities include a tall edge-to-edge Super AMOLED Infinity display, a 3000 mAh battery, and the familiar Samsung Experience interface, but on the inside the A8 is a different beast with a weaker performance. Even though the A8 looks similar to the S8 from afar, the difference between them is easily noticed when you actually hold the two. The much bigger bezels ruin the impression of a true edge-to-edge design, and the A8 also feels bigger and bulkier. It's also noticeably heavier, while the S8 just weighs a little less. It's also made of glass and metal. The glass is Gorilla Glass 5, the latest and most durable in the series, while you also have a matte finish on the aluminum frame. On one hand, glass looks great when clean, but it is rarely clean because it picks up smudges so easily. The buttons on the sides are also made of metal and feel clicky and nice to press, while the loudspeaker has an interesting position on the right side. At the bottom you have a USB-C port for charging and a headphone jack. The A8 also has IP68 waterproofing, meaning that it will survive a short dive in water and those summer days by the pool. The big change on the back is the fingerprint reader placement. The fingerprint scanner on the S8 was way out of reach at the top of the phone and too close to the camera, so you would often just smudge the camera rather than unlock the phone. Thankfully, Samsung heard all the complaints and it has moved the fingerprint reader on the A8 below the camera. It is still not an ideal placement as it's too close to the camera and you can accidentally touch the camera lens and smudge it, but it is much better than on the S8. It is not a fast fingerprint scanner though. The finger reader on the S8 was a bit slow to react, and this one too is not as fast as on other phones like Pixels and OnePlus. The A8 features a 5.6-inch Super AMOLED display with lush colors and deep blacks that look great. Samsung calls this an Infinity display on the S8, but this particular screen is not curved like the one on the S8 and has a flat design with bezels that look much bigger than on the S8. It definitely ruins a lot of that futuristic look. You also have the always-on display feature on the A8, so a quick peek at the screen is all it takes to tell the time and what missed notifications you have. Every year with Samsung phones, we look at the Samsung Experience user interface and say the same thing. Looks good, but does not perform good enough. Well, here's one great thing. With Samsung Experience 8.5 on the A8, things have gotten better. In the daily grind, the A8 actually performed a bit faster than the S8, despite its slower processor. Apart from that, the A8 2018 runs on Android 7 Nougat at its core, which is a shame for a phone selling in early 2018. An update to Oreo, however, is in the plans and it should arrive in the first quarter of the year. Let's see if Samsung sticks to schedule. For all else, Samsung Experience is a familiar user interface. The unmistakable colorful Squircle icons, the swipe-up app drawer, the well-segmented settings menu, the theme selection and customization options are all here. Power user features like split-screen multitasking, Knox security and secure folder are also present. We like the universal search in Samsung's interface that pulls detailed results from all over the system and is actually very useful. First-party apps have a polish to them that is among the best from a company outside of Google. The weather apps is particularly nice, while others like Browser and Mail app are good enough. Samsung has done some important work on its own cloud solutions, so you can easily sync photos in the gallery to the Samsung Cloud and get them on any Samsung device you own, which is a nice Google-like bonus feature. The Galaxy A8 2018 is powered by the Samsung Exynos 7885 chip. This is a mid-range chip that is a far cry from the Snapdragon 835 in terms of performance, but it's also better than your typical mid-range chip. I've already mentioned the good performance you get with everyday tasks, but this chip doesn't break any benchmarking records. This is not a phone for die-hard gamers and those who push the limits of a phone performance. The A8 we have ships with 4GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, and you have a microSD card slot to expand the onboard storage. Just 32GB of storage feels very little, as more affordable devices these days ship with 64GB, and we wish Samsung did not cheap out here. The A8 also has 4G LTE connectivity with support for a lot of bands, so you can travel most of the world while getting good LTE connection. Here's the full list of supported bands. It is also a dual phone, and with true dual SIM card support, you can use both your SIM cards and the microSD cards. Other connectivity options include GPS, dual channel Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, as well as NFC and Samsung Pay. The Galaxy 8 looks similar to the S8 and costs just slightly less, but does it have the same fantastic camera as the flagship phone? The short answer is no, it doesn't. But we first have to start with the specs. The 8 features a 16 megapixel rear camera with OIS and an f1.7 lens, while on the front there is a dual system consisting of a 16 and 8 megapixel cameras that can blur the background on selfies for a cool portrait effect. How do photos actually turn out though? When you have plenty of light, the difference between the new A8 and the S8 is not that huge, but it is still noticeable. The A8 slightly overexposes the highlights, while the S8 consistently shoots underexposed images. If we look closer into details, we notice quite a bit of artificial over-sharpening halos on the A8, while the S8 is sharp without such artifacts. Take a look at this shot where you can see the over-sharpening halos clearly in the tree branches. Unfortunately, the A8 cannot quite match up to the fantastic image quality you get with the S8 at night. Photos from the A8 turn out blurry and lacking detail, while the S8 preserves detail and has a balanced image. When it comes to selfies though, the A8 really shines. The live focus blurred background effect is awesome and makes selfies look epic and indeed memorable. But then is video. The phone can only record 1080p and other phones in this range record 4K, this one lacks the feature. Right now we're testing video recording capabilities of this phone. It does not record 4K, it maxes out at 1080p video resolution. So let's move the camera around, see how it adjusts to different light. We have more light up, and we just move around the phone to see how it performs in real life conditions. Thankfully there is a headphone jack on board as well, so you can easily hook up your own headphones. The A8 also comes with a pair of basic headphones in the box. Call quality is essential for a good phone experience, and we had no issues with it on this phone. Voices sound clean and crisp with enough detail on both ends of the line. But what about battery life? The A8 features a 3000 mAh battery, the same size as on the S8. We did not have any problems getting through a full day with the A8, but this is definitely not a battery champ that will get you through more than that. We ran our battery life test on the phone and it scored 9 hours and 15 minutes, a result that beats the S8 by about an hour. Now what about charging time? Sometimes you need that extra battery boost during the day and you need it fast. The A8 ships with a fast charger in the box and it recharges fully in very little time. It takes around an hour and 40 minutes to go from 0 to 100%. And in case you were wondering, nope, there is no support for wireless charging here. So what is the takeaway? The A8 is a phone selling at the same price as the OnePlus 5T, but it doesn't quite feel as well executed and it definitely feels overpriced. While it technically has an infinity display, you can definitely see the bezels on the side, and it doesn't quite have the futuristic, classy look of the S8. And while it has a cool dual front camera, the main camera is actually not great, especially at night, and it does not even support 4K video. And then there is the performance, definitely improved in the daily grind, but technically you only get a mid-range chip, and having just 32GB of storage when others ship with double the amount is just pitiful. Yes, Samsung does have the Samsung Experience interface that has a lot of useful functions and visual polish, and it has a Super AMOLED screen on this phone with those vivid colors, but in this fiercely competitive market, we're left thinking that there are many better options out there.